Hi, this is Margaret Scott, the first female writer in Transformers comics, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Transmission is go. The Pullback crosses over with the Underbase podcast to review the 4-issue miniseries, Transformers Windblade. Join your hosts, the long-suffering TFG1 Mike, the committed LadyWreck, the amped Hailstorm, and the pretender Hahi Prime, as they bring you in-depth analysis of the mostly all-female team of Margaret Scott, writer, and Sarah Stone, artist, as Windblade takes IDW publishing to new heights of awesomeness. Get ready to pull your bag under the base in this first ever crossover event.
Oh god, so pretty.
Alright, well, the night's not getting any younger.
Yeah. Well, neither are we.
I know.
Let's get this party started.
Okay. Welcome to
talk about... Oh, sorry.
Shut up.
That's good. That's good.
Wait, let me interrupt you again.
Okay, go for it.
Wait, let me interrupt you again.
Okay, what were you going to say?
I can't remember now.
Awesome. Okay. Welcome to the Underbase.
Now I'm just being a bitch. That's okay.
Alright, Cyclonus, go to your corner.
Okay, that was blessed.
Your box.
Oh my gosh.
Box
is another one that's just terrible now.
No.
It's like, Nicole, are you in the box? Are you in the box? Hey.
It's in the box. Your body!
What did we say the last 2 recordings we did, Nicole?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. You're one and she's the other.
What? Okay.
That's true.
Okay. It's one and the other. Who's the other?
Okay, so Mike has this theory that I'm Cyclonus and you're Whirl.
Oh,
and we just like to torture each other, apparently.
Oh, man.
And apparently I like to picture, shoving you off of cliffs into hot boiling oil. I would never do it. I might think of it.
It's a whole new meaning of my life right there. I'm Whirl in disguise.
I just
that would be so freeing to be Whirl.
I just wanted you to enjoy a nice hot bath. Sure, the temperature's, scalding hot, but I thought you would enjoy it.
That's all right. I'll just take your hands.
Well done.
I promise I won't interrupt you again in the introduction, at least.
Okay.
I won't guarantee anything after those 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Really? That's serious.
Okay, somebody mute her. No, just kidding.
I'll mute myself.
Okay, welcome to the Underbase. You're not going to say this word, Niall. Okay, my mind is all now. Welcome to
the...
Oh my gosh!
We're never going to get this done.
I'm sorry, I didn't think you were starting again. I honestly didn't think you were starting again.
It's okay. It's very comical.
Oh, okay, I mute myself.
Now I can't stop laughing.
I know. I'm trying so
Welcome
hard
to
to laugh.
Underbase, crossing over with Geekcast Radio Network's The Pull Bag. See, it's not that.
I'm kidding. I'm cracking up.
This is going to be a fun podcast.
If we can ever get it started.
Exactly. Oh, goodness. Okay.
Started.
Welcome to the Underbase, home of Team Angel. I'm Amy, a.k.a. LadyWreck, and with me today is my awesome, adorable, and amazing review team, Heather, Nicole, and Mike. Everyone say hi.
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 I just thought
I am high.
Yes, you are.
Between the medication and the chocolate. Woo! Oh, I did have Pepsi, too. I am on one, people.
You're totally...
That, and I'm sure you've been sucking on some purple fumes, so there's that, too.
Yeah.
Well, I've already talked 3 hours about Cyclonus with Mike.
So... Did you get it out of your system yet?
Oh,
No.
hell no.
They're such
That will be the day that I die. And even then, it's questionable.
No, because when they do the autopsy, Cyclonus will be in your system.
I've engraved his image on my bones and stuff. Crazy.
Wow, thanks for that image. Yes, it's
Wow.
Tattooing.
Yeah.
Tattooing to the extreme. Bone carvings next, man.
But Windblade.
Yes, Windblade. And also,
I
just
heard
because
of this person.
I forgot to put this in here too, that the Geekcast Radio Network crossover with the Pull Bag, because Mike runs a very good show over there as well. Woohoo!
Yay, the pull bag. Woohoo!
I've
I've
heard of
got
that.
one. You've heard what?
I've heard of that thing.
Yeah.
You've been on a few of them.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I've got one thing I want to bring up before we start.
Okay.
Jason Enright emailed me. For those who don't know Jason, he is Margaret Scott's husband.
Mm-hmm.
I am in the middle of raising money for my mom and my dog because we're going through some financial hardships at this point in time.
Gotcha.
I have literally sold off my entire Puggle Former collection from Cali.
Oh.
Yeah. I have 7 left. Sarge is waiting for you, Amy.
I'm still debating.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? Save one for me. I don't care which one it is. I will buy something off you.
Okay. But what was so cool about this, this raising money for my mom and selling off my collection, and I'm really only keeping 4 of the ones that I really like. I'm keeping the very first one Callie actually gave to me, which was Shattered Glass Rodimus.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm keeping him, and I'm keeping a couple other ones that she kind of customized for me specifically. But the rest are all for sale. I have 7 regular Puggles left. But Jason emailed me and said, hey, we saw your thing on Twitter. Margaret and I want to help out. They are allowing me to sell, I've already sold 2 of them, but they were allowing me to sell 3 packages of Windblade and Beast Hunters comics. There's 1 package left.
Awesome.
This package includes issues 2 and 3 of Windblade and the first trade for Beast Hunters. The reason why it doesn't include issue 1 of Windblade is because when they went to their comic shop, they were sold out.
Oh, wow.
So if anyone wants a package of Windblade issue 2 and 3, if you've already read issue 1, you'd be all set. And Beast Hunters, shoot me an email, tfgandmike@gmail.com. It's $25, free shipping.
Nice.
Awesome.
That was
Nice.
super nice of them.
Yep, that was awesome of them.
I love those guys. They're so awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's-
love her even more now. Oh my gosh.
Sometime after Comic-Con, I'm going to have them on the pull bag as a husband and wife team interview.
Oh,
Aw,
rock on!
that's gonna
I'm
be
so glad
totally
you're doing
cool.
that, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
That's
Awesome.
cool.
Yep. All right. Windblade number 4.
Yay! But also, yay! Sad because
I
it's
know.
the last one.
I know.
We'll
I mean,
have to
Amy's had to
wait.
deal with my posts about withdrawal. I'm like, Amy, I'm gonna be really sad.
It's okay. But, hey, we have next year, we'll just have to get back together. We won't have a goodbye for long. She'll be around still. Windblade will be still. Yeah.
I don't know.
Awesome.
As long as James doesn't get her hands on her.
Well,
Since when
he's
did
still
James
on the
become-
Lost
what?
Light. He's still on the Lost
James
Light.
become a woman.
Huh?
You said you hope James doesn't get her hands on her.
Oh,
When did James become a woman?
I don't know. Ever since
James is all things to all people, and that is the problem.
I apologize, James. It's not James, remember. It's Jimmy.
Oh, God.
I forgot that I'm supposed to call him Jimmy from now on.
Jimmy.
Because we're like this.
Well, some
in
have
my
been
brain,
calling
in my
him
mind,
Fearless
in my
Jim.
mind. Yeah, in my mind, we're like this. In real life, I have paper saying "stay back 20 feet."
I'm sorry, that's good. Okay, well, so without further ado, let's get to our let's do it. Let's get to our coverage of covers. We've got 3 different colors.
I see what you did there.
Our first cover is by Miss Stone. It's Starscream versus Windblade. Who will win in this epic race or battle? Who has the crazier look in their eye? And the other 2, one is of Windblade and the other of Chromia, both by Mr. Phil Jimenez and colored by Mr. Romulo Fajardo.
Right?
Sorry. If you look at it, you're like, Romulo? No, it's Romulo Fajardo.
Because I remember the whole tutorial on how to say his
Yes,
name.
I know. It's like, oh gosh, yeah.
And like
Romulo
school,
Fajardo.
it went through one ear and out the other. I apologize.
I will edit to make it sound really awesome. It's colored by Mr. Romulo Fajardo. I'm sorry. So, crazier look in their eye. Which one is it, ladies and gentlemen? Nicole, you first.
I'm going for the very first cover.
Yeah.
Starscream versus Windblade. I love it. It's beautiful. I love the look that Starscream has. His, grinning teeth, and the look in Windblade's eyes like, oh no, you did not just say that to me. And of course, the whole Top Gun planes going, facing each other in the background. I like that too.
Yes.
So.
Oh, that is cool. I hadn't noticed that they were planes. Cool. Sorry.
Blade, the other one is Starscream.
Starscream's only been a plane for 30 years.
I didn't notice the shapes were planes. I'm sorry. You can kick me off the podcast.
Space. It's the negative space.
You are no longer allowed on for at least a year.
Oh.
It's an easy mistake. Come on, man. It's easy to overlook things like that. Come on.
Everyone gets
It's
one
not like
mistake.
up in your face all the time. You're like looking at the expressions. They were distracting. They were good expressions. I could believe it because Sarah's really good at her expressions. So there you go. Okay, Heather, which pick?
Totally Sarah's. Am I allowed to say that I actually hate the other two?
Sure, why
Normally
not?
I don't have like that strong. It's because it's a comparison thing, but I'm just like, I've never really been a fan of his character covers for the toys, and it's extra annoying when
This one they
compared
really didn't try to
with
put any
Sarah's art.
background in it either. So it was kind of like it's just a vignette of the characters. I mean, it could be, it could be just a sketch that's on the cover.
Tell you what, I like
They're
the Chromia
floating.
one better. There we go.
Gotcha.
I like it better.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Okay,
and
cool.
it's like normally I try to be
I
really
think
positive
Chromia
about
looks-
art, but I hate them.
I think Chromia looks sexy there.
Yeah,
I
awesome.
like Chromia better than the Windblade one.
Yeah, me too.
She's like, gun in your face. What you gonna do about it, huh? 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 What you gonna do, huh? Huh? Okay, how about you, Mike?
Get my shield out.
Sarah's cover, hands down.
Gotcha.
It reminds me, and I know this is going to be bad, and I know people are going to cringe, but this cover reminds me of, like, if you open the inside page that they have a different image of what they might be doing. Reminds me so much of Rat Trap and Botanica in Beast Machines when they're arguing and then all of a sudden they're kissing.
You're stepping into the territory of making Heather's kids write fan fiction again. Okay, we can't
I
have
love
that.
how that's a meme now. Like, but it is like Eve will come up to me and be like, "My fan fiction itis is, happening again," and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're like 7. Stop." But it's
So-
also adorable.
How many of us, I assume all of us, have seen the 1985 classic Clue, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
I haven't. Don't hate me.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh,
well-
we need to stop this right now
Yes,
so you can
yes.
go watch that.
You do need to watch it. Now it
Yes.
means that your homework, because you've got homework now, is going to be watching that.
So it was Ironhide in the bowels with the potato gun.
Oh my god.
It was Rat Trap in the bathroom with the belly bombs. It was Chromia.
It was Slag in the
in-
bar with the Dinobot Demolisher.
it was Chromia in the brain with the axe.
Nice.
It was Blur running down the street with a bomb, right?
Yeah.
Because Blur is the bomb, man. Booyah. I tell you, I'm not right in the head tonight, people. Watch out.
Is it ever any different than that?
I was gonna say it's
Oh.
just on hyperdrive right now.
To be fair, I did, expose her to 3 hours of Cyclonus.
Yeah.
So
Yes, you've got her
It's all Mike's fault.
already on a roll right now.
Yep.
Okay, so covers for me, I'm absolutely going to pick the Sarah one as well. I like the other two, but like I said, there's no background to them, and their facial expressions. I have to say, I like more characterization with mine, and they're all right for Hey, if I was just going to see tech specs of what the characters are going to look like, I'm like, hey, that they look pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having a toy like that. Looks interesting. So, but yeah. Let's see our credits for the comic. We've got written by Margaret Scott, art by Sarah Stone, letters by Chris Mowry, editorial assistance by Rebecca Heward, and editor is our captain of continuity, Mr. John Captain Barbosa Barber.
Yar!
Yar, matey.
Yes, because he's a
I
pirate.
go sailing
He's
on
awesome.
his ship. As long as I can have a parrot.
Rebecca Heward is there as well.
She's the Marine, though.
I really like that last name. I'm sorry, it's just so much fun to say. I actually look forward to saying her name. Rebecca Heward. Just, yeah. Okay.
She'd be a great kickboxer.
She would.
Yes.
You do not want to mess
because
with her because she will kick your ass.
Anytime you get hit in the face or in the stomach, she calls out her name, and you don't forget who just hit you. Think about it. Yep, that's
She's
true.
got some brass knuckles with her name right across the knuckles. Just punch you in the forehead. You will never forget. It'll be ingrained right there. Sorry. Miss Heward, we are really sorry for making you upset. We really like your name. Awesome. Okay, so
If you don't like your name, I'll take it.
there you go. Yeah. Previously on Cybertron, we had a big explosion. Check. Windblade saved by her awesome protector Chromia. Check. Conspiracy theory was that Starscream was trying to kill her, but it turns out that was not to be so. As this last issue, Windblade was pretty sure it wasn't him. Dun dun dun. They investigate and are caught, captured, tortured, and then saved by none other than said Chromia, awesome protector. And now they are fleeing at this point in time. So meanwhile, Metroplex's space bridge activates. And we don't know where it's to because they leave us hanging on the last issue. But will this issue help us to find out who it was and what happened? Before we
We're
start,
gonna have a lot of ticked off people, man.
yeah. Theories. Again, who done it? Going in, to be honest, who did you think it was? Who was the bad guy? Mike.
I wasn't sure, honestly. I wasn't sure where this issue was going until the reveal. I knew it wasn't Starscream, which is kind of shocking because normally, Starscream would be doing crap like this.
Yeah.
But briefly before everybody else goes, I do have to talk about the cast page. Just Starscream, actually. Ruler of Cybertron, having a bad day. Yeah. That's the understatement of the year.
Not loving it. Not loving it at all.
Nope.
Be careful what you wish for, people.
Yeah, this
Pretty
cast
much,
page
yeah.
was fun because they had new little blurbs under people, and it was just fun.
Yeah.
Slug, disgruntled Dinobot, drinker of drinks. I don't know, it just cracks me up.
I like the fact that it's like not from Cybertron, and then Chromia's is absolutely not from Cybertron.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, remember I thought that was
a
a typo on the first issue, but no, they're serious.
it's strong bold for a reason.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Gosh darn it, Margaret.
Yep. Okay, so Heather, theories. What was your theory coming into this issue?
I was drop dead positive that it was Metroplex pulling all of these things himself.
Ooh,
and that the explosion had been to distract people from something that he was doing or something. But I figured all of it was Metroplex, and I was wrong.
How about you, Nicole?
I still thought it was Rat Trap. I still thought there's something about him. Once a rat, always a rat. What are those things?
So I came into this going, okay, I have no idea what's about to happen, and I'm along for the ride. Thank you. Because I was like, I have no idea. I kind of like the fact that I have no idea. I want to be wowed. I want to be surprised because that's always a good thing to me. If you figure it out, then it's like, oh, see, I guessed it right. And then it takes the thrill out of it. But if you have no idea, then it's like, ooh, I liked that. It's like opening a present on Christmas. You know you're going to get something that you like, and you open it up, you're like, it's what I wanted. But you didn't know that you wanted it until you saw it, And then the other thing was, crap, I don't remember what the other thing I was going to say. Oh, well, it wasn't important. I'll probably think of it like in 2 seconds, and I'll be like, oh. Okay, so
And that's why we have editing.
yes, that's why we have editing. Exactly. So for me, I was like really happy. I was really happy to come into this and not have any expectations other than wow me, and I was totally wowed. So yeah. Okay, so we open up our comic, and we have Chromia and Windblade, and they're jetting down the streets of Metroplex, escaping from Starscream and his cronies. He blames Windblade, but they are both blaming the wrong bots. Both Windblade, well, wait.
You all right over there?
Yeah, I said they're both blaming the wrong bots. It's like, yeah, because like Windblade and Chromia were like, they were. Everybody's been pointing the fingers at the wrong people. And I think Windblade, at this point, Windblade knows that now. So she's like, but it's hard to, stop a train, Yeah. Okay, so she's not, at this point, she's like, her and Chromia are going along, and she's like, I'm not going to leave your side. And Chromia's like, no, you get there ahead before. Don't slow down for me. And she's not going to do that. There's this sudden unexpected power outage. Who knew? But in the distance, we can see the tower to Metroplex's brain is all aglow. And I thought, okay, so you have a power outage, but there is this nice little glow coming out of that tower that everybody is like driving toward. But that's when their pursuers catch up to them. And even though Slug and Blur are doing their best to keep Starscream from pursuing, they're not quite getting them from, they're getting bested. So Chromia does what she does best, and she makes her grand entrance, swinging her trusty axe. And when your axe isn't enough, there's always your boot knife, because Chromia is that awesome.
This is why Chromia and Ironhide make a good team. They're always loaded with something.
Yes.
Thanks for noticing me.
Okay, so we got to stop and talk about this awesome sequence of Chromia and awesomeness, because I loved it so much. I just loved it. I was like, did you see what she just did? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. She bounces off, Windblade and jumps into the air with her axe, and she's like, assessing the situation. It's great. I love it. And then she turns around and she swings that knife like is nobody's business, and she's like, wow, and she hits her mark. It's great. I really want to have a Chromia toy now.
I've always liked Chromia. When it first started getting on forums and stuff, I always used Chromia as my avatar.
Gotcha. That's cool.
I've always liked her. I've always liked Chromia.
Yeah. Awesome sauce. Anybody else? Sequence? Comments?
Chromia looks like a Tron bike.
I think that was kind of, yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I was going to say, that's not a bad thing, man.
I just noticed it in this issue. I might have noticed it before, but since this issue is mainly dark and it seems that her cockpit is lit up. Wow, that sounds so wrong.
There's a light inside because, she's alive,
Yeah.
I would love to have a light bike. Who, when they were younger,
is the toy actually going to be that too?
I'm thinking so.
Because I think the pictures that I've seen of Chromia, she is basically a light-looking bike.
Yeah, if I remember right, she is.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
I'm kind of glad that they're kind of going with that vibe still. So works for me. I hope there's no problem with licensing and stuff for that.
Well, it doesn't.
You don't want to have
exactly
Disney to
same,
come after.
So.
Yeah, you don't want to have Disney to come after you, but yeah.
No, you don't.
They'll just buy Hasbro.
Just don't say that. They do not need to buy another company.
They bought Marvel.
God, imagine
Hasbro too. Come on.
Imagine they bought Marvel. They bought Lucasfilm. Next in the line is Hasbro, Mattel, and Warner Brothers.
Well, Elvis people have been asking for that crossover with Marvel. I think you'd probably get it if they did it.
Wait, we had a Transformers Marvel crossover. Don't remember that train wreck?
Oh,
yeah. Oof. Ouch. The covers were cool. That's all I could say that was good about that series.
The toys were a train wreck.
Everything about that.
Yeah.
But moving on to a good comic.
As awesome as Disney is, we're not going to let them take over this right here because, guess what? IDW is awesome. Okay, so enter loud scream.
I
Yeah.
think I already did that earlier today.
What on Cybertron is that noise? Well, it's Starscream because he's like really determined to get there and stop the women. Hide the children and stop the women. Ironhide is unfortunately nowhere to be found, which I took note at this point, going, "Where's Ironhide?" So I sort of hoped at this point that, he didn't go back to wallowing in the bowels of Metroplex, He didn't shirk his duty because, he's a good bot, right? Yeah. We'll get back to that later. So the lady bots get back to Metroplex's tower and, the room of braindom that happens to be Mr. Plex. And they close the door and lock it because that's going to work, right? And that's when Chromia tells Windblade she has to connect to Metroplex and merge with him. However, this is not without a slight problem of if she can survive such a thing, because Metroplex, phenomenal infinite cosmic power. Windblade, itty bitty living space. You do the math.
Thinking space.
Yeah.
I am so putting that clip in this episode.
Good. Because I thought, hey, that's what it reminded me of, so that's why I said it that way. You do the math, it's a last resort sort of thing because it's sort of dangerous to do that. So, but Starscream, yeah, he's got other plans, and that locked door does not keep him out or his double swords out. Rah!
That is a beautiful panel.
Bring it.
Wow.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Starscream looks beautiful.
And I have to say, double swords kind of works for me. Kind of does. Yeah.
Yep.
Windblade can't
He got the idea from Drift. He's like,
He
okay,
did.
That's cool. I'm going to take that.
Especially since Drift isn't here, so it's not like he can have anybody say, hey, you're
Oh my
stealing
gosh.
Drift's thunder.
What if those are actually Drift swords? Yeah.
They're glowing. I like the fact that they're glowing.
It'd be really cool if they were somehow molten, and that's how they can slice through their armor so well.
Well, because this is what, like Armada, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes in a non-visual. So,
Gotcha.
Armada.
Is that what Armada Starscream had?
Yeah, he had a sword that was one of his wings, and he would just reach up and grab it, and it folds out into a sword. So now he's like, I have two swords now.
Yeah. Look how cool I am. I don't have one, but two. Jealous?
Double your pleasure, double your fun, right? But Chromia's like... So she's like, bring it. And they lock horns in battle. And while, in the meantime, Windblade is like, stand down, stop. And they are kind of out of time. And Windblade is pretty sure that there's no stopping these two. So she turns to Mr. Plex. And she's going to connect with him. But in a twist of fate, Starscream swings his sword to hit Chromia and misses, but then flings his other, which goes past Chromia and slices Windblade on the shoulder before she can connect with Metroplex. And I was like, whoa, no! And that ain't all, because Chromia also loses an arm. And I was like, ow!
Oh, man.
Yeah. See, I was very emotional at this point in the comic. I was like, I was yelling at it, going, no.
Well, I like this sequence because, yet again, they're giving Starscream, they're making him out to be an actual threat. And this is like one of those times. He's not a bubbling idiot.
Yeah.
He actually acts like he can rule Cybertron because he's actually making you fear him. And he's showing, hey, look, now that I got two swords, I could actually get stuff done. That's what I like about this. He's actually being a threat for once, and
he's formidable. He's not.
Yeah.
In times where, Megatron is in the area, it's like with Megatron, he's always just that guy that's standing behind him, sometimes making a mistake, sometimes, working to his benefit. But at most times he's outshined by Megatron. And this is him. This is all him. This is like him in his element, getting the jump on everybody and being the guy that you have to contend with. And I kind of like that because, he's always standing in Megatron's shadow. And at this point, he's not standing in anybody's shadow.
Exactly.
He just needs to learn to get out of his own way.
Yeah.
I did just notice a really cool little good job on the continuity bit where he's flying in his plane mode and going, rah! And he's missing one of the missiles. in his little shoulder things. And I'm like, good job!
Yeah.
Because he shot one earlier when he was escaping.
Yep.
So
that's how he got a Dinobot out of his face.
yeah. Well, that's kind of what it takes.
Poor Slug. Poor Slug.
Yeah.
Guys,
Okay,
Slug's
so-
drinking. He's okay.
So Starscream, he gets the jump on these guys. He gets in there. He's, basically doing a good job. And he's, he stopped everything. He stands over Windblade gloating because he's really good at that. And the next word out of his mouth are like, what? I was like, whoa. So he's like, I'm going to finish off Chromia like I'll finish off the mystery bomber. I hope it's Rat Trap. He really should show a little more initiative. I was like, whoa, he thinks it's Rat Trap. Oh. And I was just like, stop the press.
I really wasn't, because I sort of got that in the last issue, that he didn't know who it was, and so I assumed he would think it was Rat Trap, because he always goes against whoever he thinks is a threat, and he is Megatron to Rat Trap Starscream.
Gotcha.
In a way, and so I'm just like, oh, well, of course he'll suspect Rat Trap. So that wasn't a big, like, whoa, to me.
Well, because I wanted them to admit, because it kind of put that up as to Foggy, hey, maybe he didn't do that. And I was like, so I liked the fact that I've kind of gone back and forth on who was the bomber?
Who was
and we're not
that?
done with that yet. Yeah, we're really not done with that yet. But anyhow, he also says that, he basically acknowledges that Windblade was always going to be the one to try to steal power from him, and he's not going to let that happen. And she was always going to stand in his way, steal the planet. But you know what? He's Starscream. He's a chosen one, So, epic fight scene. Yeah, that was his fight scene. I really have to say, I really liked the fight scene between Chromia and Starscream. It was very good.
Mm-hmm. It was
She lost
very
her
good.
shield.
Because you felt it. You felt the anger. You felt just... That was an incredibly well done fight. Basically, Chromia is just written really well in this whole issue. From, the pacing of that first thing where she jumps up on Windblade, kills the one dude, and then throws the thing. And that's just really well done. And you feel her, you get her way of living in that. And then in this fight, again, you just feel how just incredibly angry and frustrated she is with the whole situation, and just dealing with people around her who are just not seeing the world the way she does, and she's just like, I am going to kill this punk.
You're standing in my way. You're dead.
And just her horror when it does, like when he has the gall to fling the sword at Windblade, and she just in that instant has completely failed because she let her anger take over. And then, she loses an arm. It's just like...
It's like she lost an arm!
Yeah, this whole fight scene. For a while, because there's a tangent there, I actually thought that Starscream was dragging Chromia over by an arm when he goes to talk to Windblade.
Oh,
I thought that too.
right. I see that. Yeah.
That would have... I was just like, but he's not, because she's grabbing her shoulder. But I was like, whoa.
Yeah, for a minute there it kind of does, because his fist is kind of connecting with her shoulder a little bit. Yeah. So the negative space makes it look like he kind of is. But, ooh, yeah, like, that would have been interesting. Throw her over there next to Windblade. I'm going to kill you both. Yeah. Huh. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I didn't even see that till then. I was like, oh, whoa.
I thought that at first, too.
And the fact is that he looks so buff. He's like,
who does? There you go.
Choose that one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of really killer poses in here, and too many to bring up, but yeah, killer good poses.
Lots of strutting.
Not just strutting, but like, the girls when they're, I mean, I'm looking at the same panel, so right now what I see is Windblade falling over, leaking from the shoulder. That is a good pose. And this pose where she's kind of scooching back on her back away from Starscream up to the wall as he's coming up to her with his sword out. That's another just really good drawing of action where you can feel it.
Very
like,
dramatic.
Oh no! Yeah.
And you can see, like, it's the atmospheric perspective is really good too, because you're like, yeah. We can go on and on with the art.
Yeah, we can. So
this one was really good. I really liked how they did a lot of these things. But anyhow, Windblade, she's like, you know what? what do you think that matters? That matters. Anyhow, she doesn't care. She's like, no, I'm not going to let you do this. And she doesn't care like Honey Badger does, just don't care. So she takes a line and she slams it into her head in defiance because she's not going to be stopped by Starscream. And they, Windblade, Metroplex, shoot Starscream and pin him against the wall because you don't mess with the city speaker in her charge.
They locked the door behind him, too. Do you see where it slams down behind him?
Oh, yeah. That was
so
good.
It's like, you're stuck.
You are not going anywhere, buddy. I like the fact that not only that, is he gets shot up against the wall, and then the guns come right up into his face. And I was like, ooh, you're in such a bad place.
I know this would take it completely out of the book because it would be going for the funny, but first thing I thought of when I saw Starscream like this was Cheech Marin and Oliver and Company as Tito. If this is torture, chain me to the wall.
Cute.
So, Windblade and Metroplex, would that be Metroblade or Windplex?
I don't know. That's a good question. So while she is merged with, she's one with Mr. Plex, and she realizes that the space bridge is open. It's practically killing Metroplex with the effort, but he's doing it. And she's been searching for, he's been searching for the Wanderers. And one of the colony titans. She's getting a sense of what's going on. And one of his she finds out this is one of his closest friends, and it's Caminus. But it's more than that. It was an order given to him by Chromia. Chromia came to Metroplex while Windblade was captured. She ordered Metroplex that they needed to leave now because she was captured. And he was like, she has him. Or
he has
her. Sorry. And Chromia came to so she ordered Metroplex that they needed to leave now and return to Caminus. And so he did it. And at this point, Chromia knows that Windblade knows. And Windblade is like, you did it. You brought the space bridge online. You planted the bomb in Acrolite. You killed 3 people. She's like, I had to. It was the only way that she could get Windblade to leave. And she asked Windblade again, help Metroplex find Caminus, help him find home. At which point Starscream is all, you fool, Metroplex integrated with Iacon. Jumping now will kill everyone not completely inside of him. And I was like, oh my gosh. It's the oh my gosh page where everything is like revealed and you're like, whoa. Yeah. So
this was the
reactions.
Go
ahead. Yeah.
This was the section of the comic where I've read this 3 times. I read it, I read it again, then I went back and read the entire series and read it again. And once I got to this point where she merges with Metroplex, I start doing this completely involuntary, like, it just breaks my little heart. Like this panel where it's the first, our towers shake and our power surges, and that sounds dirty, but I have a filthy mind. But just this last panel where it's Windblade, and then you go down and it's kind of the space bridge where her spark would be. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful and poignant. And then like you see all of the other types of Transformers that have been born on other Titans, and just it's how little Windblade is, and she's trying, and how I know you guys know how much I love Metroplex, but like this whole thing where he's just like, I just miss my friends, and that whole poem about the stars that he has going the whole time, and I was gonna have it so I could quote it, but how they get distant and he's just so alone, and I'm like, and the gosh darn it, Margaret.
And the stars grew distant and lonely in their orbits. We saw, but we could not touch their wandering grace.
And I'm just like, dang it. And just this whole thing, and then, finding out about that it was Chromia, I was just like, no, because I did not see that coming. And that's like such an awful betrayal.
Yeah.
Because Chromia is the one that she leaned on. And also, in a way, okay, Chromia is to Windblade as Alex Milne is to me. You know, the untouchable one that you just, you would love to impress, but it ain't never going to happen. And, you know, all these things, and just that, and the fact that blinking Chromia does the Starscream whisper in her ear.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
I was going to say, well done, ladies. Well done, Miss Stone. Well done, Miss Scott.
Yeah. So, yeah, this whole section broke me ever so hard. This was the section that I got to the end of the comic and went to Twitter. Like, you guys, this was so good.
Awesome. No, at first I thought, okay, he has her. We need to leave now. And I thought, is this a like a flashback to something? And I was like, no. And I went, oh, and I slapped the forehead and went, oh, it's Chromia. I went, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it took me to catch on to what the he has her bit was. I was confused for a little bit, but then I got it, and then I didn't care because I was too busy going, oh my feels.
There's a lot of stuff. Go ahead.
Well, it kind of makes you think when Starscream, the reasonable one. Okay, you can't do this. You'll kill everyone. You know, you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
That's nice of you to notice, Starscream.
Yeah, for
Holy
the first
crap,
time, he's not like focused on himself. He's like, wait
Exactly.
a minute, if you do that,
Exactly.
everybody's gonna die.
Well, I mean, he does want to have people to rule, so it's not like completely altruistic on his part. But yeah. That is funny, Nicole, about Starscream.
So many emotions.
Yeah,
So
you're
many
just like,
emotions in this.
Starscream, the reasonable one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about you, Mike?
This entire issue is just crazy. There's just way too much going on. Not that it's a bad thing, but there is just like they're giving us answers, but they're also setting stuff up for later because we know Windblade is returning. And we know that at least for now, until she actually returns in her own series next year, we will get more of Windblade's story in Robots 33.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but there is just so much. I love the panel on the page with the space bridge showing Canamus. That is just awesome.
Caminus. Is it the one that has the three crosses in it, and it's got, you see Windblade with the space bridge in her chest? Is it that one?
It's the one where you see her and Metroplex where they split. And she says, we are never alone.
Oh, you're skipping all the way to the end.
Far ahead,
yeah, that one's quite a ways away. Yeah, we'll get to that one then. What did you guys make of the one where they had, like, where they're talking about the Colony Titans? And we've got three different panels of different characters. Any guys have any opinions of who some of those are?
I don't know who they are, but I think it's cool that I mean, we kind of knew that Titans weren't just on Cybertron.
True. We do know that a lot of them have been killed, but that doesn't mean that there weren't other ones like Caminus that got away. So right. It's like, let's see, they're calling those ones, I guess, the Colony Titans, because they had, they took people with them and all that. But if they became to the point where Caminus was, where they, disconnected their ability to be tracked, there could be quite a few Titans still out there. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I've had somebody say that the one in the top one is Knockout. And I had to put that in here.
I've heard that before. I have heard that.
I have heard that may in fact be Knockout. So I'm like, ooh, nice.
Cool. It does. I was trying to figure out, because I was like, is it Rodimus? But I know it's not. That was the only one, because everybody else I knew it was just kind of unnamed character from a different Titan. But all of a sudden having like this car show up, I'm like, am I supposed to know what's going on? Okay, I guess not. It's just a character. But
yeah, so I wanted to
pretend
ask
that it's Knockout. It's Knockout now.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because how beautiful would that be?
Now I haven't.
He would tell you that it would be exquisitely beautiful.
Yeah. Exactly, that's what
and
I'm
he would tell you exactly why and how.
And he'd say this comic couldn't exist without him in it.
Exactly.
Again, another reason I love the douchebags. I love Knockout. God.
Come on, he's not that douchebaggy. He's like, hey,
As
he's
lo-
really
as long-
pretty.
As long as he looks pretty, he's okay.
He was pretty awesome in Transformers Prime, just saying. How about the guy? I haven't seen all of the Transformers series, so when I saw the bottom panel, I thought, I wonder if this has anything to do with anything that I haven't seen yet, because I thought I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's
I just figured it was a reference to Beast Wars.
Yeah,
where
that was the other thing
those
that I was
ones
thinking.
have evolved into beast forms. I think it's a beautiful panel, but it is a little out of place because they don't read as Transformers. They read as organic things.
Well, this could be some place where, like, Skybite came from, Skybite is
no,
a shark.
that's what I'm assuming that it is.
Yeah.
Just saying, in the art, there's no way to show that those are types of Transformers too. So unless you know that there's such a thing as Beast Wars,
yeah,
it might be a little confusing to people.
Gotcha. Yeah. Did you guys also
Beast
pick
Wars?
up? Oh,
Very, very bad people.
if you haven't, you got to go watch it because
I know.
hey.
But because this is
good.
this is awesome that it is. But this series is a lot of people's very first Transformers comic.
True.
And so you have to be aware that there's a lot of little 12-year-olds buying this.
There should be.
Yes, and this is wonderful and good, and I'm super glad about it. It's just they're not going to be necessarily as steeped in the lore.
That's true.
They can become that way. Go forth, all of my children, and watch Beast Wars.
Well, I didn't watch Beast Wars when it first came out. I didn't eventually. I did sit down and like binge on it, and that was because I was going to a convention where that was going to be like the highlight. And I had heard good things, and I just never sat down and done it. But I did watch it, and I was like, whoa, why did I not watch this earlier? Because it's actually pretty good. I mean, I did have a hard time getting into it at first because the animation was just so...
The first 3 episodes, you're kind of like, wow.
But once you get past that, then it's like, then you start learning who Dinobot is, and you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. I like it. It's not your Transformers, but it is totally good for me. Yeah. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. But what I was going to say is that, I don't know, did you guys notice the eye markings on Caminus?
Yeah.
I didn't see that at first, and then I went, oh, and then I read it again today and went, I think, and that's what I was going to come to at this next page, because I'm doing a little bit of setup for the next page. So, Windblade has Metroplex in her head, and she's like remembering her home, and she's also, Metroplex is seeing what she's seeing, that type of thing. Seeing where Caminus is and what became of him. And this is the part where I was like, what? So I've got to ask your questions about this, because they have, what was it? He says, okay, so she's seeing our home, small, struggling, proud. And then Metroplex's inflection is like our friend dismantled like a butchered corpse. Fragments of Caminus scattered across it, a willing sacrifice from her. And then the last panel is Metroplex standing in the background. He made his choice, and then Windblade says she made hers. And I thought for a second there, is Caminus a her?
Oh, that's a good question, because this panel confused me too for a little while.
Not that it's like not perfectly clear, but I thought, who is Windblade talking about with she made hers?
I assumed when I thought about it, that she was talking about herself in the second person.
But that's Metroplex standing behind her. I mean, I'm guessing that is because it looks kind of like him. He's like, looks like, because at first when they found him, so I'm just like, I don't know, something about that. But then I went back and I looked at the pictures, like just 2 pages back from that, where you see the eye markings on Caminus's face. And in one panel, it's Metroplex, standing in front, and Caminus is behind. And then the next, of course, it's Windblade, because they're both in each other's head, that type of thing. But I just kind of went back to that and went, wait a second. If he's remembering what Caminus looks like, I don't know, just something about it just struck me, and I thought, I wonder if Caminus is female. I just had to say that. I was like,
That would be
makes sense.
interesting. It would mean Marigrid completely stole my idea for fan fiction that I was going to write. I had this whole idea where, like, all the female Transformers got sick and tired of the boys in their war, like, right at the beginning, and they left with a girl Titan.
So
I know that that's not the truth, though. That it's not,
No. I'm totally not saying they actually stole it because I haven't even written it down. It's just become a joke for me that I have all these ideas that I get super like excited about writing, and then James or John or Margaret will like give me the comic book version. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks guys.
Well, I do know in an interview she has been asked point blank, are all the people on Caminus female? And she has said no. So
no,
I know that much.
And he looks like a dude to me in these pictures.
I was just seeing that line, and I thought it just struck me as I wonder if Caminus is female.
But this is why
Which
I
is
think
fine. I mean, I'm alright with that.
That would be cool. This is why I think it's Windblade, though, because this is one of those really multifaceted images. Because so this is still, in my opinion, as I read it, it's still Metroplex and Windblade in their conjoined experience thinking mode. And so it's Metroplex talking about Caminus. He made his choice. But this is also the image of Windblade, Chromia, and Nautica walking up the gangplank is her thinking of what it would be like if she actually took the three girls home. And because Chromia wouldn't be saying take us home if they were just leaving Caminus for Metroplex in this picture.
Gotcha.
I don't know. We should ask.
Yeah, because I would say
but that's
Chromia,
how I read it.
That's a good point. That's a good point because Chromia, she always take us home. Her home is always going to be Caminus.
Yeah,
and they've kind of shouted that out from the top of the issues rooftops. Yeah, especially like even at the very beginning of the page where it's not from Caminus or not from Cybertron. She's always been not from Cybertron loudly. Anyhow, but yeah, okay. I just had to stop because I thought are they saying what I think they're saying? And I thought, I like the idea of that. So anyhow,
it would be awesome.
That'd be different, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So they're just a bunch of Amazonians in the Cybertropia area in the lore, huh?
Okay, so Windblade starts to have a reaction at this point, and she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to stay. She's not sure what to choose. She goes, Cybertron may suffer if she stays. Okay. Caminus will continue to suffer if she doesn't go home, that type of thing. Metroplex wants to go back because I really got the sense that he really wanted to go back to the people that he knows that have been gone for a very long time. And I like the fact that in one of these panels that he even says it hurts. Like he's to be alone, he's hurt. And so he's alone, she's alone. Chromia wants her to go, Starscream wants her to stay, and then this is how I kind of took it. As Metroplex kind of separates the two of them, because she was like getting lost in the two of them in one head, and she thinks that she's small alone, and he reminds her that she isn't. But she can't choose between them both, and she realizes that she doesn't have to. And that's when the space bridge shuts down and she disconnects from Metroplex, at which point Starscream is all, Chromia, you chose the wrong side, wahaha. And Windblade sets them all straight. He says, there are no sides. Our resources are stretched to the breaking point. Caminus won't survive the next 100 years without help, but Cybertron won't either. And I thought, oh, I like that. That's true. Her choice is to stand not with Caminus or Metroplex, but with both. She continues to explain that you stopped fighting a war, Starscream, but it doesn't mean you truly know peace. As fast as you blur the lines between us and them, you etch new ones. But you aren't alone. Caminus wasn't the only colony aboard a Titan. There were others, and the descendants of those colonies are still out there, isolated, waiting for you. Chromia tries to intervene at this point, but she continues. So when Metroplex is strong enough, his space bridge is yours. You'll reach out to those colonies and you'll bring them home, our savior, uniting all of us. And her point of doing this is because a city speaker's job is to side with all of creation, regardless of who gets the credit for it or how it happens. And this, of course, appeals to Starscream, who cares nothing for his own vanity and power. And that's why he'll overlook everything and cover up everything that has been going on. At which point, I was just thinking, very well played. What do you guys think of this point of the comic? Windblade could have just used Metroplex to take out Starscream, take over, or go home. And she didn't. Thoughts?
It's one of those things where it's you need the middle ground here, because we've always, in not just the IDW comics, but all the comics, all the shows, all the cartoons, not counting the movies or the video games, we've always had two sides. You either do the right thing or you do the wrong thing. Sometimes
I think there's even blurred lines there. Because Megatron still thinks he's doing good, even though he killed billions of people. He still thinks he was doing it for the greater good.
Right, but I'm trying to think how I can word this. Windblade is doing the right thing by helping both camps.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And not being just not. She's trying to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
And have peace all at once without, segregating Cybertron over here and having whatever disagreements that Starscream's going to bring up over here, and then whatever Metroplex is going to do on Canimus over. So she's trying to bring them all together, which is the ultimate right thing to do.
Yeah, because separated, they're all weaker, and the pool of resources. I mean, it just makes sense if their resources are not going to last. Better to get all of them together than to keep them all separate and die separate. Mm-hmm. So, I just loved it. I just love the fact that here she is. That's her job. She's basically giving Starscream what he wants, but it appeals to that. She's using him. I guess in a sense you could say she's kind of using him for the greater good. It is using him for what he really wants. But she did the womanly thing. She boosted his ego, and he liked it. Okay, so she used her womanly ways, and yeah, she didn't really use her womanly ways. She just saw something to exploit because he's exploitable. Yeah. Power is his thing.
She knows how to get in the cracks between his armor now because she's seen him.
Well, the thing is, she just pulled a Starscream. She just silver-tongued him.
Except the difference between her and him is the fact that he'll do it for himself and she'll do it for everybody.
Exactly.
Yes. Huzzah. Yep.
Yeah. I just liked this. I was just like, yeah! I liked it. I was just really happy with it. Okay.
Can I squeeze
anybody else? Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Okay. First of all, remember last issue I was talking about how Sarah uses the iris of eyes really well.
Mm-hmm.
When Windblade is visualizing Caminus, you can see her planet in her eye, and then you see it floating out in space. This is kind of back a ways, and then yeah, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Then there's like a really super poignant panel where you see the space bridge, and she's like, I can't choose. And you can see Caminus through the space bridge. It's right there. It's just like, dang it.
I'd like to go home. Chromia wants to go home too.
Like this whole thing, and then of course Windblade getting to do the Starscream ear whisper thing too.
Yeah, I liked. I liked the fact that they switched sides.
Yep. There's just so much good stuff. Yeah. Okay, those are my main squeebles.
She's learning to play the game. Yeah, she's learning to play the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a fun game. I don't envy her that because
no, I don't either.
It's not a fun game.
It's necessary when you have somebody that plays by those games.
Lincoln Starscream.
Yeah. She gets to play with Starscream and turn the tides on him. I'd like to play that game.
I just like the fact that when she's like, "Hey, when Metroplex is strong enough, the space bridge is ours," and the look that he's got on his face is like, are you really saying what you're saying? It's like,
that's such an awesome expression.
It's like, so you're willing to give me that because I'm the chosen one, right? She's like, she's not going to tell him because it's like, it's the right thing to do. And, I'm better than you because it's the better road.
The last thing she needs to do is stroke his ego.
True, because then he'll be like,
Yep.
Are you? You're setting me up for something, and then he'll be suspicious. Yep. So, don't. You have to be careful how far you go with that, because if not, then he'll start thinking that you're setting him up for something. So, yeah. So, wrapping up, unless there's anybody else.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, I just realized how messed up Starscream is yet again. That he only can function if he's either the manipulator or the manipulated.
Yeah.
Like, he can function if there's a Megatron in his ear being like, you're going to do this thing or I'm going to kill you. He can totally function in that situation. So
yeah, but
he
she's
can
not
going to
kill him.
Well, no, but, he can function in that. Like, where there's somebody with something over him. And right now she's like, I'm offering you this. You really want it? Okay, this is what you got to do. But he can also, he loves being the one with the boot on the face. But just, anyway.
I love the Starscream.
Yep.
I really do.
Yep. Cool. Anybody else? Go ahead.
I don't know where we're going to be a year from now as far as when Windblade returns, but honestly, I want the next series set on Canamus. I want to see the home planet, their home planet. I don't want it set on Cybertron.
Okay. We'll get to more of that because I have a question later. Okay, so wrapping up. Starscream leaves. Windblade is covering everything up, including, Chromia's, bomb thing, because she, of course, didn't tell anybody about that. She knows, but yeah. Okay, and Windblade, asked her point blank, did you kill Ironhide? And at this point, I was like, oh yeah, Ironhide. There was Ironhide. Please tell me she didn't kill him. Which she didn't. Yay. Windblade tells her if she wants to leave, that she'll get her a transport, but she's not leaving it. But Windblade is not going to leave. She's going to stay. But if Chromia stays, she's got to know that Windblade can, count on her, and that there will be no more deaths. And as she walks away, she's kind of hoping that eventually Chromia will believe in her someday too. And she jumps off into the same sunset that she entered the comic in. And that, my friends, is the end. And I have to say, I kind of like the fact that this has shaken the trust between these two. Because they did come off as like the, big sister, little sister. But one, Chromia really wanted to get home and really wanted to get her home safe. I think more above everything else, to the point that she was willing, and this is something I guess I overlooked because they did it so good, setting Starscream up as the bad guy. It was he was a really good distraction. And so I didn't even think about how far was Chromia willing to go to keep her little sister protected. And she's obviously pretty, willing to go pretty far. And I was like, I'm really glad that, Ironhide is not dead.
Yeah. I know, but the thing is, there's that panel where she cuts her off. She's just like, no, and she cuts her off. What did she do to Ironhide?
Yeah.
He's not dead.
But what did
we haven't seen him. Is he locked up somewhere? Did she transport him somewhere? Is he somewhere else in Metroplex? Or
maybe she pulled a pharma.
Maybe she teamed him up with maybe she teamed him up with Rat Trap. I don't know.
Stop that. Don't give James any ideas.
I will
or John any ideas.
Sorry, that is literally my only problem with this issue, is that Ironhide as a character in the story is dropped without explanation. And it feels as if Marigold was like, oh crap, I can't fit in anything to finish off his arc.
Yes, but what was he doing? All he really did was just kind of basically be the guy that they bounced an idea off of, and then they asked him, go protect, Metroplex while we go check this thing out.
That's true.
He didn't really do a whole lot.
was introduced as enough of a character. I mean, I would say he had just as much importance to the story as like Team Windblade of like I about said Drift, Blur and Swindle and Slug and all of them, and he's just kind of dropped. I mean, you figure out what happens to the others, but you leave Ironhide there to guard, and then you never see him again. Now,
yeah, but he never made it into the bar scenes either, so it was like he didn't really have that.
It's just a kind of a writery complaint, but it does add power to this panel. This question, did you kill Ironhide? Because when they showed up and Ironhide wasn't there, I was like, hey, where's Ironhide? And so having this be like a legitimate gut punch question of, hey, I haven't seen him. Is he dead? That's good, but I felt like
I think he'll be in part 2.
Yeah, I mean,
he totally will. But
I'm sure that he'll definitely be around, but and I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like I think it's a really good sacrifice, to be honest, because
it's
of how they use it in here, as it's to the point where everybody loves Ironhide, but it's like, hey, did you kill him? Yeah. And it was just like, because if she was willing to do this to get Windblade home, at what point would too far be too far? At least we know at this point that she wasn't willing to kill Ironhide over it. But she was, willing to set a bomb that killed 3 other people, so...
Yeah, and almost killed Windblade, which was pretty trippy. Like, going back and rereading, I was like, dang, Chromia!
Yeah.
She does, like, she jumps and kind of wraps herself around Windblade to try and protect her, but still, I'm like, did that go off a little more than you expected it to? Was there a little bit more fatouche than you had planned for?
Did you cross the streams too much?
Yeah.
And as far as Ironhide goes, maybe Chromia sent him back to the future.
Well, he's not too far away, because they can at least bring him up to speed, hopefully.
Yeah.
I like that they're going to keep him in the loop, that he's going to kind of be one of their honorary bros.
Hopefully he won't be like, I don't want to have nothing to do with you guys because you did this.
That would be sad.
Hopefully it'll be
I'm retiring.
Yeah.
And did you guys notice that last panel that, yes, is very similar to the opening of the comic, where she says, both of these places are my home now, instead of the beginning where she's like, I don't belong here, I'm not home. And she's made the transition to be, you know what, I am of both places. Which is super interesting, because remember how she was saying, I almost wasn't chosen as a city speaker because I was too kind of in myself?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this is really good character growth. Huzzah!
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing that, I kind of came away with the last page. When they didn't have to do much explanation about it without me kind of going, yeah, she's grown in herself. You're right. She's choosing both instead of just one over the other. So, yeah. Okay, so I had to say this because I know it was at least mentioned at one point at some point in time before Windblade came out, maybe at the first issue. Mary Sue, is Windblade that character? Now that we've gotten to the end, we can actually give a thorough reason why we believe or disbelieve that idea of a Mary Sue. Go. Nicole.
I don't think so. Well, the thing is, she might have started off that way, or we had the idea that she started off that way, but she definitely grew as a character. I mean, going through these experiences that she has, she had to grow and learn and develop. I mean, that would make for really bad story writing if she started and ended that way. She still has that side where she wants to always constantly do good, but now she's got to play the game to get the things that are right. And she's willing to do that now. Whereas with most Mary Sues, they're constantly doing the right thing. They would never even think about doing something a little manipulative or something. She's learning that that's how you have to do, play politics these days.
And usually everybody liked them and everything comes so easy and they have all these special powers and everything just, boom, happens.
No, I don't think. No.
Yeah, that's Mary Sue.
I mean, you think about it. Her best friend was the person that just about destroyed everything.
Almost killed her.
That's heartbreaking.
and didn't have enough faith in her to begin with because she's like, no, I want to go home. I want you to be safe. Ah.
So it's just no. I'd say maybe I came into the comic books thinking she was, but that was shortly drowned it out. Good writing, we'll do that.
How about you, Mike?
No, because by the end of that first issue, she's more investigative and trying to figure out why Starscream is doing what he's doing, and by the end of this issue, as I said earlier, she wants to help everybody. She's just, and she's sitting there in this issue manipulating the hell out of Starscream. Most altruistic good guys don't manipulate people.
Unless they have to.
True.
How about you, Heather?
The term Mary Sue gets tossed around a lot, and it's almost sort of lost its meaning over time because it ends up being, flung at characters if you don't happen to like that they are prominent in a story, almost in a way, New character shows up prominent in a story. They're a Sue. Actually, I just now went to the Wikipedia. I'm like, all right, Mary Sue Wikipedia, and it says, in fanfiction, a Mary Sue is an idealized character, often but not necessarily an author insert. And we know that if there's any author insert in here, it's blinking Chromia, who Margaret has straight up said is the personification of her evil laugh. So,
That's awesome.
But it's easy to say, oh yeah, Windblade has got this special power of talking to Metroplex, and Metroplex loves her, but
it's
that's
not a
where
gimmick.
that's where it stops.
Important.
Like you get that far in the Mary Sue sort of whingy checklist, and then you have to stop and be like, nah, this is just the main character in a story, and she's got a dramatic arc. Not everybody loves her. In fact, most people don't. And the people that claim to end up betraying her. So, no. It doesn't hold up. The argument to say that she's a Mary Sue does not hold up.
Gotcha. Well, what I was kind of thinking is, I think some fans have come across it as like, oh, because it was a fan-voted character that was made that way, that it's automatically going to be that. But I don't think so. I think Margaret has been very respectful and coming at this character, which, pretty much any character that you've never written before, you have to, find out who they are. She got a chance to start from a character that was completely from scratch, and, because it was a fan-made character that was voted on, that type of thing. But it wasn't actually made by, it was just a shell of a character, and she's pretty much fleshed her out in a way that I think really, really works, one, for the story, and it works for the whole universe. We've been building to this moment where we have, ongoing, they have decided to come back to Cybertron because Cybertron is now able to support life, and the war is over. They're going to run with that, and you've got all of these new characters and characters that have never been seen before, like Skybite. Hey, we'd never seen Skybite in the IDW universe, and now he's in there and he's part of canon, and it's great. But she's just one more character that's been added to that. Who cares if it was fan voted one that Hasbro did and blah 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 blah? It's like, what? It works. It's working for me, and I really like it. So for me, Margaret has come from a very respectful point. She's actually given this character personality, flaws, things that she's got to learn, things that she's got to work on. And she's not perfect, but she's, I believe in her now because I'm like, hey, she just did some really cool stuff, and I thought that was kind of awesome, and she's not dead. Yay!
Yay! Yeah, I was worried there.
Yeah, I was a little worried there. I was worried that either she was going to go or that Chromia. I was actually kind of worried that Chromia was going to get taken out, and then I found out, oh, she's the person that did some of this stuff. I went, whoa, did not see that coming.
I did a whole massive, huge gasp at that point.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing that I thought that would be important to bring this up, because, hey, what kind of, we've got this series and it's new, And, there have been, like I said, there have been criticisms before, and we have actually asked this before, but I thought, hey, now that we're at the end, we'll just kind of bring it out again. What kind of what kind of fan would read this series, or who would you recommend this series to? Would it work for anyone, everyone, that type of thing?
I think because Windblade is a new character, it would work for new readers. Mm-hmm. You may have to read Dark Cybertron just to kind of catch yourself up, but really you don't. I mean, because they do the previously pages and whatever else. I think for new readers, this would be a fine jumping on point. But I think the problem with it is that it's not a third ongoing. It's 4 issues, and that's fine. IDW does amazing with their miniseries. I'm not saying they don't. It's 4 issues. It leaves you wanting more. The only problem is we have to wait a year until we get more.
Well, we will get to see more of her between now and then, but...
Well, yeah, I got to bring this up. I didn't feel comfortable reading Dark Cybertron with her in part of it because, when it was announced saying that, okay, it's going to be Margaret and Sarah doing the Windblade series. Okay, great. It's a female writing a female character. That's going to sound... It's just... Sometimes male writers don't really capture female characters too well. Sometimes they don't. Mm-hmm. And I've said it from the beginning. This is their series. These okay, sure. The other Cybertronians or not Cybertronians, maybe not. But Windblade is their character to run with, and it just I don't know how I'm going to feel reading Windblade written by John.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's not that I don't have confidence in John's writing. He's an amazing writer, but voices change on who's writing the character.
Well, I think that went to show when he was writing her in Dark Cybertron, because I think she seemed a little stiff in Dark Cybertron. And in this series, you get someone that actually has a personality, that actually wants to read about. I'm sorry about that, because Windblade...
No, I thought you were making a crack at John.
Oh, no. In Cybertron... Yeah, no, I would never do that. I would never do that. Because of John, I'm reading comics again, so he will always be my hero.
I know, we got to give a lot of credit to John Barber for keeping this universe going as well as he does, for giving this series to Margaret and Sarah and being like, go forth, my children.
Yeah.
We owe that man. So there will be no dissing.
I think the only reason why the voice sounded different is, to be honest, I'm pretty sure at that point they probably knew that somebody else was going to be writing her. And rather than set something in stone that's going to cause something later to be, like, oh, well, that's not the way that she was back then. Like, they kept it very, very neutral. I didn't get a sense of much out of it other than the fact that she didn't like to talk to people all that much. But I don't know if that was because she was just absorbed with, Metroplex. But, it could have been, because like, hey, Metroplex, I haven't ever talked to somebody before. This is kind of new. And it's just the first time that she was a city speaker anyhow. So, I mean, like, I see what you're saying, but I'm like, at the same time, but at the same time, they really couldn't build her all that much. If they did, they might have taken away, right. or it was just a story like, hey, I'm going to have her say this, that, and the other just to help build my story. But it's not going to mean anything on her because she's got to be just that neutral character standing in the background because somebody else is going to come in and write her, or somebody will eventually, and it's just not me.
Right.
I get that.
I understand that. I get that part of it.
Yeah.
I'm saying going forward, I'm not sure if I'm going to like the way John's voice comes through, the way his writing works with her as a character, because I view her now as Margaret and Sarah's character.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, I totally get you, Mike.
Or we could just love it. I mean, Drift started out as Shane's character, and guess where, James took it and ran with it, We love him now, right? He was the other one that's been called, Gary Sue. So,
oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Gary Sue.
How about you, Nicole? Would you recommend this? And who would you recommend it to?
Um, that's a difficult question. Yeah, I would recommend it. I mean, just so you can see a great team. It's Stone and I
Scott.
just lost you, Scott. Oh my gosh,
Okay.
sorry.
Just say it again and I'll make it work.
Yeah, Stone and Scott. They did a great job. I mean, they're a great team, and it's good to see another team work so well in the meshing. Um, I like I said, I'm not sure who I would recommend it to. New readers might be a little lost because they're. I'm just making an assumption here that most people know the common core Transformers. They'll be like, "Who are these people?" You know. I would say for anyone that that has been in Transformers but wants to come back, probably this would be a good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
That but what Mike said was a really good explanation as well. So yeah, it's a great storyline. Like I said, oh, and the artwork. I mean, expressions galore right here, man.
Totally sells it. I completely agree.
A lot of blue in this issue, and there's not a problem for me because I love blue. So
the difference is I can tell the difference between the blues in this one versus some other issues that.
That's true.
Awesome. How about you, Heather?
Well, as soon as the trade comes in the mail, I am going to get my little 7-year-old fan fiction writing daughter, and we are going to read it together. Because, no, for serious, like, I'm sort of passionate about this.
Oh, really? Couldn't tell.
I know, gee. But me, passionate about something
new.
new.
Emails she's been writing people. It's really sad. I'm not saying that she's sad. Her emails have been sad because she has to stop. You know?
I know.
Doesn't mean you have to stop. Doesn't mean it.
I'm gonna miss playing podcast games with you guys so bad. Okay, all right.
So we'll just continue it. There you go.
Yeah, you got to put me on something else, Amy. You got to do it.
I have plans.
But okay. So definitely my little daughter because oh gosh, this is such a good comic for girls. I'm pounding my leg right now. And
make sure there's not a knife in your hand.
I would give this to anyone who had an artistic bent to just be like, look at the art in here. Because this is very different from anything else I've seen in comics. Period. Not just Transformers comics, but comics, period. I really enjoy this art, and I think it's worth looking at on its own. I would recommend this definitely to young people wanting to get into Transformers. I would recommend this to anyone who was like, I'm sticking with the core characters. Only robots in disguise with the main 84 bots. I'd be like, I'd shove this in their face and be like, no, branch out, person of indeterminate gender. And I was about to be like, branch out, dude. And then I realized I was being not fair. So I'm like, it could be a girl. I don't know. Anyway, so those are the main people that I would be like, no, go forth and read this. Because I don't think that you need to know anything about Transformers to get this story on its own.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I also think that if you are like a hardcore Transformers fan, this particular miniseries takes the whole world, splits it open, and goes, here, look, it's a geode inside. You know, there's all these sparkly crystals that you didn't know.
That's a good.
So, yeah.
That's a good imagery right there of your description. I have to agree. I'd absolutely say if I was going to ask, if somebody was going to ask me, recommend like some of the top ones, I say like this is going to be up there with them because I think it's a good. I think even if you don't know that much about Transformers, even if all you know is Starscream is a Decepticon and Ironhide is an Autobot and that's it. If that's all you know, I mean, because they can shift, they can look different. If this is the first thing that you jump onto, I mean, because it's a good story, it's well told, the art is really well done. You know, I'd say it's got great conflict. The plot is great. The expressions are awesome. The characters are mostly, bar just the few that we just said, like Ironhide, you don't get much out of him. But like for the characters that are like really running in this issue, like we know a lot about them. We're getting to know them, and they're really well. You're used really well in a way that I like. Hey, I love them by the end of this. I didn't know who they were, and now I know who they are. And I'm like, wow, I like that. I just think that the story speaks for itself. As long as you have good characters and a great plot, and there's something that comes out of it that's good, then it should be it's worth it, and it proves itself just by what it is. And I think that this one will do it. And I would recommend it to anybody, any gender, any age. It's good for that.
Like Dana Pointer.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Right, Amy.
Go ahead.
There are voices in your head.
There are voices in my head, and there are voices behind me, and they shouldn't be on here right now, but it is what it is.
I recognize that voice. That's the voice that brings you snakes and scorpions.
Leave that in. Please leave that in.
You think I'm
I
kidding?
shall.
It's true.
No, it's absolutely true. They have interrupted us enough times with
Yeah.
those snakes and scorpions.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was thinking though really fast in conjunction with everything we've been saying about recommending Windblade to people. I mean, my favorite ongoing story right now is the More Than Meets the Eye one, because I'm addicted to feels and falling in love with characters and that does it for me. But you can't just drop the mass of More Than Meets the Eye on somebody's head and just be like, here, read this. You can't. I mean, that thing is like this incredibly complex tapestry of like pain, and it is. And so
people have to build up to pain.
This is just a good single trade that you can just be like, here, read this. It's beautiful. Go.
When you're ready for an ongoing after this,
yes,
you can hit Wreckers,
then
and you can go to
do
More Than Meets the Eye.
Oh gosh. Oh man, sorry. I'm just imagining, some poor little person. Windblade, I love it here. What's your next favorite one? Wreckers. Everybody says Wreckers is good. Ah!
Everybody dies. No.
Oh my god.
And then More Than Meets the Eye. My heart gets ripped out all the time.
With Last Stand of the Wreckers, it's in the title. It's not going to be a pretty series.
It's not the Last Stand of Windblade. It's not the Last Stand of Windblade.
Nicole, what was that line?
What one?
In More Than Meets the Eye? We just talked about it like 5.5 hours ago. The line where they're like, this, and this is the upgraded version of the Wreckers.
Oh, what was that?
What was that line? I don't remember.
I can't remember now.
There's a line in Remain in Light, one of the issues where Ambus is talking about something Tyrus set up, and he says that it's the better version of the Wreckers.
Yeah,
is what it says.
And that's when I was like laughing under my breath that there ain't anything better than the Wreckers. Sorry, dudes.
we mentioned you on that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wait, are you talking about Prowl's little group of the people with the memory gun, Skids and Getaway, and how they just kind of sneak around and do what needs to be done cleanly without blowing things up?
Yep. That was
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get too far ahead here, thoughts on the next series? What will it endeavor to do? What do you guys think? Theories?
I want it to go to Canimus. I really want it to go to their home planet.
Okay.
Like, we've already had the Cybertron story. That's great. And especially if she is now helping both worlds, we need to go to the other world to see what the other world is all about.
My
we
gosh,
already
that
know.
sounds exhausting.
What?
As if she doesn't have a big job already. She has to save 2 worlds now? God.
Well, she made that choice. It's not our fault.
She chose both of them. She's like, I choose both. I choose both. They're going to split her in half, lengthwise. And she's going to do
I already have one son who sneaks up behind me and goes, lengthwise. I'm like, you stop.
No, so you're
Sorry.
basically saying this is the Transformers version of Sophie's Choice.
What's
Pretty
that?
much,
I don't
yeah.
know. What's Sophie's
Oh,
choice?
you don't know Sophie's
I don't
Choice?
know Sophie's choice. I'm
She
sorry.
has to choose between her two children, which ones to save.
Oh,
It's like if you cut your kid in half or something.
dang, that's dark.
Sophie's
Yeah.
James, do not take notes.
Yeah. Plug your ears, James. I have something that if it's okay, basically in the next series, I have in my notes written down. It says, if Windblade 2.0 does not reunite Caminus and Metroplex, I will fragging kill someone. Not a joke. 'Cause,
Okay, so there's two.
I got to the end of this and was like, drowning in my feels, and I was just like, gosh, dang it. I don't know. Yeah. So basically, yeah. I mean, I get what Mike's saying, that it would be really interesting to set it on Caminus, and I would support that. Margaret, give me a Elita 1, give me Elita 1 now, and give me Elita 1.
You have, you've got one thing on your mind, and it's really just give me this character right now, please.
I need Elita 1, and I need Caminus and Metroplex to be able to be in the same solar system. Because they're just so little. I mean, they're giant guys, but they're just...
I was going to say, they're not so little. They're actually pretty big.
I just want to love them, and I'm not big enough, so...
Oh, God. Nicole, it's going to come back on us. Everything is always bigger on the inside.
How about you, Nicole? Next series.
Sorry,
Oh,
one more
sorry.
thing. Fast.
One more thing.
The
Okay.
little badgeless guys that have been set up in this, something better be done with them, too.
That was the other thing. They
Starscream's
never...
personal little SS squad. They need to be dealt with and expanded upon.
That
Not
would be
that
kind
I
of cool.
want this to happen, because they scare the crap out of me, but yeah.
Not one of
They
his
remind-
brightest ideas as a leader, but whatever.
No, it's
They remind me of
intelligent idea. I mean, he's been reading The Prince or something. He's like, okay, we'll do
Or he's
this.
just following
And
suit with Prowl. Prowl had his own team.
I know, but just the idea that nobody knows who they are, and so they have like immunity from responsibility for anything that they do, quote unquote, in the name of the law. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's work for Starscream. This is terrifying.
I think Margaret was reading a little bit too much Judge Dredd when she made
know,
the Badgeless, because they are the exact same thing as the Judge Hunters from Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Nicole,
Yes,
go.
Nicole. Next series.
Next series. I
What,
know
what are you looking forward to in the next one?
Okay, I don't think this is going to happen, but I'd love to see Chromia become a bad guy.
You're an evil person.
I would like to see her somehow team up with Starscream. And
That would be a
kinda-
switch.
That's what I'm saying. I would like to see that team up, and Windblade has to trust on her own instincts instead of relying on other people. I know she did it the end of this issue, but she still has that spark of hope that she could trust Chromia. And I'm the evil person that wants to see that spark go out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're tempting. You're tempting Margaret. She's going to be like,
bad,
everything's
bad
perfectly
person.
great here.
But okay, I
You know?
love Chromia, but I love my Decepticons. And I would love to see Chromia as
You
a
have
Decepticon.
read, Transformers, Beast Hunters, right? You do
Oh, yeah.
know the angriest rescue ever, right?
Yes, I do.
Margaret can totally make it dark. I mean, come on, she's fully
No,
capable.
I would just like to see that. I would like to see a bad bot go, or a good bot go bad. And I would just like to see Starscream get to have a trust in someone somewhat. Because Rat Trap, he has no trust in Rat Trap, but I think Chromia might have a way in Starscream's head. I would like to see that. I would like to see Chromia go bad. I doubt that's what's going to happen, but it'd be awesome.
You're putting in your request now, just in case.
That's my request.
And I'm
Okay,
huddling
so-
in the corner in fear.
Well, you haven't heard my idea yet, so.
Oh, what's your idea?
Okay,
Bring
so I
Wreckers
actually
2 back.
I went more for the fact that it makes sense to me. This is what I kind of see. Okay, so we did the whole, the first year of ongoing, and then we did, Robots Disguise. Half the year kind of got taken over with the whole, the build up to Dark Cybertron and the whole Metroplex thing. Now, I think it makes sense to me that now that's just like the next evolution of their stage of being on Cybertron is to bring these other places to them. I mean, it's not a new idea.
So awesome.
It's actually not a new idea. I mean, if you think about it, the Drift series, they had the Crystal City, which was the first point where we said, oh, there's other people out there in different places that, maybe didn't want to stay for the, the war. So it's not a new idea, but it's actually building on an idea that's actually really working for them. This idea that there are other colonies out there and they might have like these Titans and, bringing them in. And I don't know if I want to actually go to Caminus. I would like to see them come there. What happens when they come there and they have to integrate and they're like, well, wait a minute here. What if they bring in some new political pressures where they're, say, instead of voting for one boss, why don't we start having a Senate again? How will that change things?
Yeah.
That's the last thing we need is another Senate. Oh my God!
But
see, nobody.
That's
would
your reaction,
that.
though. That's the thing is that because we're all like, nobody would accept that. Maybe that's exactly what they need then, because the conflict that will be involved with that will be amazing. So, I mean, hey, I would be completely cool with them bringing Caminus there, and I think it's a good idea. I think it makes sense. It's also a consequence of them already coming back to Cybertron as it is. I like the idea that Cybertron can't support itself, and that they've already seen other places that have tried to do it, and it's not working for them after all this time. And so now it's possible that's going to happen in Cybertron as well. I mean, we haven't seen like all of what's going on in Cybertron, but we do know that resources are limited there and things are not working really great because they keep on blowing things up even when they do build stuff.
Okay, let me build on your idea. Let me build on your idea here a little bit. We don't know what Windblade Returns is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be 4 issues, if it's going to be 6 issues. We don't know. If it's going to be 4, keeping in line with your idea, Amy, the first 2 need to go to Canimus. They need to go to convince them to say, hey, come to Cybertron. So the first 2 issues need to at least take place on Canimus, and then the final 2 can be them coming back. The 3rd one can be them coming to Cybertron, and the 4th one can be them acclimating.
It's a possibility. Or we'll see what they tend to do with ongoing this next year, because we have a whole year to set it up.
Yeah.
We have a whole year to set that up.
Yep.
You know how Nicole was saying it'd be cool, to her unholy and demonistic idea.
But you don't know what's in my head, girlfriend. It's scary in there.
It is terrifying. But I'd almost like to see. Well, this is me, but I'd like to almost see it go the opposite direction, where I think it would be fascinating to watch, and this, goes back into the infamous shipping things too, but it would be interesting to watch Starscream and Windblade have to learn to actually work together and have some measure of trust, because they have almost equal powers at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And they have it set up where, Windblade has got herself in a position now where she's not under Starscream's foot anymore. And,
even if she
started out
that
being
way to get what she wants.
Yeah. Well, she started out being like, Starscream's in charge, backing up, and now she's like, no, I'm not going to play that game. And having something happen that causes them to have to actually work together would be really fun. People who know me are now not shocked at all that I just said, let's have people work together. But I think that would be interesting.
Cool. All right. Well, we should kind of wrap it up here because we keep on going. Anybody else want to say anything else about the art before we do final thoughts on the rating?
Sarah should do all the covers next time.
That'd be awesome. It goes back to the we get to keep Sarah until her fingers bleed thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Sarah. She does a great job. I do think I don't know if this was just our copy or not. It is a little bit sketchy in some parts. But there's that one panel of Starscream when he's on his knees there, and he has that like flash in his eyes, that camera, that lens flare kind of thing. I love that. That's one of those Oh, I need a big poster of that. It's so pretty. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's just my version because sometimes it gets distorted. But no, I enjoy it. She knows how to bring out expressions. She, the way that she portrayed Starscream was awesome because you actually felt like he was larger than life kind of guy. He wasn't just number two guy all the time. He actually had a presence in this series. And also the design that she has made for Windblade. At first, when they announced what she looked like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so typical, you know. But she made Windblade her presence as well, lovable and inviting. That sounds really bad, I know that, but it's her design was nice to the eyes, I gotta say. So yeah, Sarah, awesome.
Cool. Anybody else?
Yeah, go, Mike, because I always talk. Go.
No, I mean, I think we've pretty much said everything we need to say.
I haven't. I have a thing.
Okay, go for it. No, go for it.
Shocker!
I know. Okay, my own this is the issue where I only have one writing beef and one art beef. And my one art beef, because of the whole I must critique to show love and respect, is the panel where Starscream shoots Slug to get away. That is, I mean, you can tell what's happening, but it's a little unclear because you can't even see Starscream. You just see kind of his contrail as he's, backing away.
Yeah.
And since I thought he was up against the wall, I'm like, wait, how? What? So that was my only artistic problem. Other than that, it's amazing. The whole fight with Chromia at the beginning is just beautifully laid out, beautifully paced. And there's this one really cool kind of popping out of the page slightly sideways panel where her knife goes into the jet that I'm just like, that's so awesome.
Yeah, I really liked that too. It was like, oh, she hit her mark. Yes.
She makes Starscream in jet mode look ridiculously shiny and threatening. The movement in this, especially I notice it in all the fight scenes, but everywhere, the movement is just amazing. It's kinetic, it's clear, you can tell what's happening. There's just an amazing feeling of, actual motion, actual emotion. And yeah, good stuff. And plus it's just beautiful. I mean, everything Sarah does is beautiful, but she doesn't have to make it beautiful, but she does.
Yep.
So yeah, good stuff.
Well, I have to say, the expression of the characters just really sells it almost every single time. Yeah, everything. I really like what she does with that because, and this is I really wanted to kind of point this out, is like, okay, you feel their shock and you feel their emotion, but Sarah is really great at showing the stuff that doesn't get communicated in the text. Like, she tells mountains of story and background without the text. Like, okay, so if you go through the whole issue, just take all the words out and just look at the expressions and what you get out of what's going on. You get a whole new level, a whole new layer of information that the text doesn't tell. But that's exactly what, good expression does. That, it tells you everything that you need to know without actually really reading what is going on. And so that's why I really, really like it, is because I went through this and kind of did that with this one, just to look at the expressions. What am I getting out of the expressions of the characters, like all the way through? And I was just like, wow. I think every issue of her I need to go back and look at this from that way at every issue, because it gives you, there's so much more complexity to the characters when you just look at, what's going on to them. And I really, really like that. It's like, anyhow, so I'm really happy to see that she'll be doing more work on future stuff, especially Robots in Disguise, and which isn't too far away in September. Yay! Yeah. And it'll be amazing to see how much she's going to change between now and the next time she's actually doing a series. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yay! So, final thoughts and a rating for both the issue and then for the whole series.
Oh, okay.
For the issue, I'll give it a 4. I liked it. I thought it was really good. There are a couple of art choices that I wasn't too keen on, but other than that, I mean, overall, as far as the series, it was an excellent story. Very well written. Really made you think about a lot of things, and Margaret basically pulled you in areas that you didn't think you'd see in Cybertron. I mean, how often do we have, bots in the bowels of Metroplex?
That's true.
I don't know about you, but that would be my first place.
Waspinator and the
Oh
slurp.
God!
You know?
Yes, yes. Overall, I'll give the series a 4.5.
Cool. All right. Heather.
Okay. I'm dropping a 5 on this one. This issue. Because like I said, the only problems I have are like little teeny nitpicky ones. And normally I'm terrible and I can find lots of problems. Because of the lack of issues for me, because of just the incredible emotional punch of this, because of the skill and power of the story, and because it's a good wrap-up of the series. I mean, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can end something as powerfully as this has ended. And I think it was really good. Holy cow, I love this issue. Okay. For the overall series, I'd give it a 4. It sags a little in the storytelling. There are a couple of pacing issues towards the beginning, like I would specifically mention where they're hunting through Metroplex in the very beginning, and then they stop to go to the bar, and that makes sense. But at the same time, it's a stutter step in the storytelling, and then it does have a little bit of middle issue lag, I would say, in issue 2. You continue being interested in the story all the way through, though, so those are not major complaints. It's just an acknowledgement that this series is not perfect. So, I can't give the entire series a 5. But like I said, I would really recommend this to people. I very much enjoyed it. The art and the writing are both just stupendous, and I just am grateful that it exists. I hadn't even realized how much, because I'm not a girly girl, and I don't really require girl characters in my life, but just, coming to the end of this, for some reason, it just really hit me that this is a Transformers story with female characters who are alive. And we hardly ever see that because of the hesitancy of male authors to write female characters. That often happens, not always, but often. And so there's a realism and a connection here, because I feel like Margaret and Sarah were very invested in this. And so we get not just, Windblade and Chromia, but also Margaret and Sarah themselves. And it's just this wonderful thing of just, here, have some female characters that don't feel cardboard. Yeah. And it was really, really nice. And I'm a little surprised at how much it meant to me, but gosh darn it, it does. So, yep, good stuff. Thank you.
Awesome. Nicole.
Issue-wise, when I first read this, after actually reviewing it with you guys, it did give me a little up in the score, because there's some really good moments. But for some reason, when I first read it, I'm like, oh, the ending's kind of dragging out. Like, they want to try to fill in these pages. But talking to you guys, I realized there's a lot more to it. So I would give the issue a 4. As for the series, I don't know. When looking back, like, I really should have reread the whole series before this. But I think that the series could have been condensed into 3 issues. I don't know. There's some, like, the whole thing with Ironhide that still is kind of like bothering me. Like, where'd he go? And Rat Trap, he seems to be lost too. So, I'd also give the series a 4. How's that?
Okay.
I mean, like I said, this team is just amazing. Like what Heather said, you finally get some characters that you, as a girl, you can somewhat relate to. I know that sounds kind of sexist, but it's kind of nice to see in a Transformers comic that, you know, wasn't your typical RC character, you know, because when you're a girl and you're trying to get into Transformers, for some reason RC's thrown in your face. Don't get me wrong. Love the bots, but it's just nice for a different change.
Either she's one way or she's completely crazy.
Exactly. No, and I love Crazy RC. I love Crazy RC.
I have to say I do too.
That's a surprise, you know, if you know me.
She beats the crap out of Secretary RC, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. Okay.
I do have to say I did like animated RC, but I felt bad for her.
Oh yeah, I know. She got pasted.
She was a tool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No. And like I said, it's great story arc. I mean, what more can I say? It's a fun series. Series. I know some people don't like it, but hey, we all have different flavors of jam, right?
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Okay, so final thoughts. I honestly, I cannot wait till next year. I want to see more from these guys, and I'm sad that we'll have to wait a year, but I'm glad that we have something. So I'm like, yeah, So I'm looking forward to it. This issue, I'm going to absolutely give a 5 because I really, really liked the fact that I did not see that coming, and it gave me a few things that I did not expect, and so I just, based on the enjoyment factor, I'm going to give it a 5, and for the whole series, I'm going to give it a 4.5 because I want to give it a 5 so bad, but it's not perfect either. So 4.5, which is half higher than two of you guys. So there you go.
You know, if you look at this episode of the Underbase and the Pullback, we have the exact same thing we had in the very first issue. You and I rated it the same, and Nicole and Heather rated it the same.
It's okay. This is why we have 4 people, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so that is going to do it for us. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but we have a fantastic end to a great series.
I'm glad to get rid of you guys.
Oh, I'm going to edit you out now.
You think that's a threat? I know. I have your address, girl.
That's right. I have yours too.
Yeah, that's right.
Bring it. Come on, man.
And nobody knows where I live.
Oh, I can find out, Heather.
We'll find out.
You don't live that far from me. You don't live that far from me.
Someday you're going to show up and be like, I've got this terrible, terrible picture of Chromia and Starscream.
No, Chromia and Cyclonus.
I would never give that picture away. It's Cyclonus. Hell no. You guys threatened me with Cyclonus killing art. I'd still take that, okay? Bring it, people. Bring it.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for reviewing this series with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And of course, to our listeners who have also taken this journey with us, thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you all next time on the Underbase.
Aloha.
Peace out.
Oh, there's no peace when you're talking about Transformers. No.
True.
No, there's only before the war and after the war.
At the talk of a new war.
There is no actual war.
And where is the peace? Really? There's no peace. A piece of somebody, maybe, but hey.
Ambulance.
Oh.
There's always pieces of people. If it's not the upgrade, it's the people that
Ratchet's
died.
hands just kind of lying there on the floor now.
No, his hands, his head, and his spark.
Oh, yeah.
Dang it.
That last issue, nobody brought it up.
You've just heard the latest episode of The Pullback, the GCRN's comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. Send us an email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCastRadio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.